Well, you'll create your 3D design in an app like Tinkercad, Fusion 360, or something else. You'll need to have a slicer application to tell the 3D printer how to print your design. So go to prusa3d.com/Prusa slicer / and then navigate to the Mac drivers and apps installer. Open that, add it to your applications, and find Prusa Slicer. Then follow on-screen directions to select the specific printer profile, which in our case is the original Prusa i3 MK3S and the 0.4 millimeter nozzle. In Fusion 360 or Tinkercad or your app of choice, select the design that you want to 3D print. Now, this bureau really ought to be oriented like this one is for successful 3D printing, but I'm going to leave it this way just to show how you can rotate things if necessary in the Prusa slicer. I'm going to export, and I'm going to select the STL file type, whether I'm in Fusion or Tinkercad. In the Prusa slicer, I'm going to add a file and navigate to the design that I just downloaded. Here we'll see that it's not oriented for very successful 3D printing most likely, so I'll select it, and then over here I have some options. I can scale it up or down, and here I can rotate it. So I'm going to look at it from the angle I want to rotate it, use the rotation tool to get it 90 degrees, and get it flat on its back, and it'll print much better that way. Over here are a few settings we should pay attention to. One is the print quality. For many prints, 0.2, this quality setting here, is going to be a really good setting. The more detailed the setting is, the longer the print will take, and vice versa. So it depends how small the item is and so forth, but 0.2 quality is often a good one. And another thing you want to pay attention to is making sure that you have the correct printer selected. So our printers are this one right here, and that's usually only an issue the first time you print. If you were to need supports, you could add them in this setting, and you can talk to somebody if you need more information about that. In terms of infill, again, the more infill towards becoming a solid piece of plastic, the longer it takes to print, and really parts, models that only have 20% infill or so that's often very adequate. They're strong, and they take significantly less time to print. Down here, I'm going to click Slice Now. And now I've gone over into this preview mode where I can see a preview of how the slicer has actually sliced the model. So if you look at this slider here, you can actually see how the print head is going to travel around and build up the design. Down here, I can see that it's going to take 1 hour and 7 minutes to print. If I needed to, I could go back to the editor view and move it or make changes if I wanted to, but then I would need to re-slice it. So I'm happy with the orientation and so forth, so I'm going to click Export. I'm going to navigate to my SD card that I've inserted and save it there. And then I can just go down here and eject the SD card from the Prusa slicer. To begin a print, I like to preheat the printer, although it's not strictly necessary. I'm going to click the scroll button in, and then go to Preheat, and click in to select. And then I'm going to select PLA. Most of the time in our lab we'll be printing in PLA. And then we'll begin the preheating process. Now I can also remove the SD card. Notice the orientation that the SD cards go in. All right, I'm going to reinsert the SD card in the slot on the left, and my printer is preheated. Now, sometimes there'll be a strand of filament that extrudes that you can, if it's safe, pull away. Do not, however, ever touch the hot end, the tip there. It's a little hard to see, but that printer head is extremely hot and will for sure burn you. So only take away the old bit of filament if you don't have to get anywhere near that. Okay, so here's my cards back in. I'm preheated. I'm going to press in to select. I've already preheated. I'm going to scroll down to select print from SD. And then it should show your the design that you loaded on at the top. So I'm going to select that. And it's going to begin printing. The first thing the printer will do will go over and it'll touch down on 9 different points on the print bed to do a leveling check. Once the leveling check is over, it will extrude a line of filament to get things flowing, and then it will create an outline around where it intends to print, and then it will begin your print job. When it's over and the printer has stopped moving, it will then be safe to, if needed, remove this top layer, and you can twist it gently to help the print pop off if you can't easily take it off. You could also then remove any residue of your print so the next person has a clear surface for their print.